Hola, hola, buenas tardes. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Tenemos una nueva sesión de videos hoy de un vivo donde vamos a estar conversando sobre, compartiendo tips importantes sobre búsqueda laboral, sobre entrevistas, sobre currículum. Vamos a estar compartiendo herramientas que son útiles para cualquiera que esté buscando trabajo. Para cualquiera que por supuesto esté planeando hacer una entrevista, sea presencial o virtual. Vamos a enfocarnos más en entrevistas virtuales porque es la modalidad que usamos para los intercambios, pero también aplica para entrevistas presenciales. Hola a todos los que se van sumando. Entonces voy a dejar acá la mención de que vamos a estar hablando sobre tips para entrevistas laborales en inglés. Vamos a estar hablando bastante en inglés hoy como novedad en nuestros vivos. Siempre entrevistamos a participantes y hablamos en español, pero hoy tenemos invitada especial que nos va a compartir su opinión respecto de entrevistas laborales en inglés, tips para job interview, ¿ok? Cualquier pregunta que tengan, ya saben que nuestros vivos son muy amenos, pueden hacer preguntas, dejar su consulta en el chat y vamos, por supuesto, atendiendo esa pregunta ni bien podamos. Quiero presentarles entonces, a medida que se van sumando más personas, a Courtney, aquí desde la oficina de Tampa. Hi, Courtney.
Hi, everyone. My name is Courtney, and I've been doing some work with Maria. And just to give you an idea of my background, I taught English as a second language for about 10 years to adults, and I worked with different nonprofits. And for the past 8 years, I've been working in real estate, and I've continued to do freelance writing. So my experience teaching ESL to adults, I think will be really helpful for you because I helped a lot of my students get internships, or I helped them prepare for university in the United States. And I want to share some of that experience with you. I also want to share experience that I've had interviewing as a teacher and as an instructor. I think that'll be really helpful for a lot of you too.
Awesome. Okay. So now we will start in English because we want Courtney to understand everything that we are talking. This is our new office in Tampa. I will show better of it in a couple of posts in a couple of days. But today we want to focus on this, on job interview and how to prepare your resume, because we all want you to succeed in your next job interview. Either you are traveling in a work and travel program, a trainee program, a Teach USA program. We have many programs nowadays going on, and it's very important to be prepared because we can do a huge job and be able to settle a new job interview for your dream employer. But then if you don't get prepared properly, you may lose that opportunity. And that is super important to be ready up front from the beginning to give the best interview possible ever, okay? And for some people, I know, mostly for work and travelers, that is our program for university students, when they do their job interview for the program, sometimes it's their first job interview ever. No, they didn't even have a job interview in Spanish, and then they are jumping into a job interview in English, and that's pretty hard. So you can get ready with these extra tips that Courtney is going to share with us. She's going to be talking about general job search, but then we can kind of talk about specifically teachers and then trainees that are more professional, young professionals, and work and travelers, okay? So let's get started with some info about this. Okay, hold on. There she comes, okay.
All right, thanks everyone. Okay, so there are a couple things that I wanted to go over to help you. And I also want to include, and I forgot to mention this in my introduction, that I did teach out of the country for a school year. So I understand what it is like to go to a different country and work in a different country. I've had that experience. So the biggest thing here that I have a little list, and the biggest thing here that I think is important is to prepare a mental interview before you go in to talk to anyone. And what that means is that you are going to think in your mind, or you're going to look up interview questions that are pretty standard and pretty normal, and you're going to think about what a boss might ask you. So you can come up with answers that you already have prepared, and you'll look more professional, and you won't have the dreaded quiet moment while you're spending a long time trying to think about how to answer. And a lot of you might be doing your interview on Zoom. You may have a phone call. Some of you may be in person, but I'm guessing a lot of it will be on Zoom. So you really want to look prepared and efficient, and the quiet moment could be a little more awkward on Zoom, as we've all had that experience, I'm sure, at this point. And depending on the industry you're going into or what the company is, if you know exactly where you're going, if it's not just like a general interview for hotels, if you know it's for like one specific school or a specific company, you can go right to their website and look up the position, learn more about the company, and that'll give you a really good idea of the type of questions that they might be asking you. So I'm going to just repeat what I was saying. So first, create like a mental interview for yourself. Part of that can be just go to Google and look up standard interview questions and try to come up with what you think they're going to ask you, and try to come up with really great answers for what you think they might ask you. So you'll be very prepared. And
one thing, yes, one thing. We always share some typical questions to all of our participants, so you have material to practice. And it's always important, as Courtney said, to have a mental. I try to suggest to have a writing interview, prepare. Like if they ask you this, what you will respond, like a difficult situation that you deal with in the past, well, I would respond this. If they want to know about my hobbies, what I will respond. If they wanted to know about my weakness, that's a very important question. Then I need to, of course, give an answer, a real one, but then manage a solution for that. Let's say a problem, common problem, mostly for Latin Americans. Let's say I'm not punctual, but I work hard on that, and I try to set up my watch like 10 minutes earlier, or set up my meetings and book them a little bit earlier on my agenda. So you have those responses prepared already for your next job interview. I just wanted to give that little insight.
Okay, great. Thank you. So the next thing I have on my list that I think is important to discuss has to do with more questions. And this is that you should have questions for the employer prepared, and you should have questions about the company and the position prepared. Because one of the worst things you can do is if they say, "Do you have any questions?" and you say, "No." So, or "I think you've covered everything." Mm-hmm. Try to come up with any possible question, even if you have a list of 20 questions that you don't think are relevant, just have them there. And if you use 2 of them, it'll look great. The employer will really appreciate that. A good question to ask is, what is a typical day like in this position? And also, what are your goals? What will your goals be with bringing me here? So those are just a couple things to keep in mind, but this is so important to make sure that you have questions set up about the company and the position. And again, it's really easy to do that because you can just go online and you can research the company. And I have more. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Let's
All
keep
right.
going.
Okay. So My next suggestion here is to bring a copy of your resume. Obviously, if you're on Zoom, the physical copy won't be important, but make sure you just have it up on your laptop and you can share it really easily and you've got the technology ready beforehand. And make sure that your camera is clear and that it has good perspective and that you have a great internet connection. And I have personally had this issue with a client, a freelance client I had out of the country, where we talked for so long that the motor on my laptop started playing, like was very loud, and with their connection they couldn't hear me and then I couldn't hear them. And so make sure that you've got your technology down pat. Another thing that's important that I've run into, make sure you look up time differences. If you're interviewing out of the country, just double check the time, look at the time that you have it scheduled, and look at where you're interviewing, and make sure you know the time. Just even if it's like an hour difference, make sure you have that settled. Is there anything else
that
you
is
can...
super important?
Yeah.
Yes, I was going to tell to mention something about resumes, because that's another important thing. When you prepare your resume, it is important to keep the most updated stuff, what is going on right now in your life, at the top, and then the oldest stuff at the end. Okay, so I keep checking resumes and they are all upside down. So they have, I don't know, their primary school first. That is boring. The interviewers, human resources people in general, they have very little time to check on many profiles. So it's important to make a good impression on them, and giving them what is going on right now with your life is the best. So you can capture the attention. Oh, this person is working in, I don't know, accounting, and I'm looking for an accounting assistant. Okay, so then I could go and see if that person, I don't know, was doing something else, that is something else. But at the top, you need to have what is going on right now in your life, in experience, and also your last academic record, right? If you have graduated already, or if you are studying something currently, then that needs to be at the top. That's very important. And also, I don't know if you want to mention something about the artificial intelligence that is happening a lot right now. Is helping a lot of recruiters. So that's an extra thing to take in account.
Yes, actually, thank you. I almost forgot about that. Yes. So make sure that you are using words on your resume or in a cover letter that, I think the phrase is that it's like SEO rich, that it's related to the career and that position. And you can go online and you can look and you can find the right phrases that you should be using that an AI... I don't know exactly what the AI program would be picking up on. Right. And I think if you go online and look at the position you're applying for, it'll be pretty easy to find the catchphrases that you need. Just in case, as your resume might be going through a machine the first time, and a human being probably won't be looking at it. Exactly. And I don't want to forget this. This is so important. Just make sure that your resume is prepared and you can share it easily on Zoom, and it's really easy for someone to look through as they can just skim it quickly and they can get the idea of what you've done pretty easily. And also make sure you double check the time differences. The next thing I have here that is pretty important, I think, is to have some goals for the position, because you've researched it. Have some goals ready for the first 30 days, and then have some goals ready for the first 60 days that you can discuss in the interview. So even if you can't find a specific description of the position to help you with that, do the best that you can based off of what you found out about the organization or the company and the school, maybe what you know about lesson planning, and write out just what your goals are and your plans. And if you're applying for a teaching position, write it out maybe from an internship, or even if this would be your first position, write it out from what you remember as a student, what you liked early in the class. It will look really great if you've got specific goals written out that you can share for the first 30 days and the first 60 days, and you can ask the person interviewing you if that makes sense and if that's what they're looking for, and that could lead to more discussion.
Yes, absolutely. And also about teachers, those interviews are a little different. We have some teachers here joining today. Thank you for being here, everyone. And when it comes to education, then the questions could be a little different. They may ask a lot about how you handle kids, how you handle teenagers, how would you deal with a difficult behavioral situation in the classroom. So that is kind of different to the regular professional market. So some adjustment needs to be done when you are going to be interviewed for a teaching position, right? And you're going to be in charge of kids, and laws in the US are pretty strict about that, but there are also many tools that can be used. We have been sharing some of them with our teachers before in our others live videos in Instagram, so you can check on that. But the most important thing, I think, is for you to be prepared, to know what to expect. And some programs are very short, like the work and travel, so we cannot do a lot of planning about goals, but you can share what you are up to bring to the company, right? Because sometimes what international recruiters are looking for is that cultural difference that we bring, right? If someone comes from Peru and then from Argentina and then from Paraguay, and they have a whole crew, a multicultural crew during winter season, and it's super enjoyable. They like it a lot. Clients like it, guests, and also the employers and the co-workers. So if you can share your culture in this little interview, like what you like to do, I don't know, people just start talking and they forget mentioning, I am from this city, from this country, or at least this area. And I don't know, my area is super humid, super hot. I haven't been in the snow, so I would love to be there and enjoy winter season with you guys, for example. So also that at the end, we are human beings and we want to enjoy who we work with. So it's super important to bring that also up in an interview. I don't know if you want to mention something else.
Well, I want to say thank you for your time today. And I also just wanted to add to what Maria was saying. If you are applying for a teaching position, I would say it's really important to make sure that you just do a little reading about what's going on with kids in the US, look at the age group, and just ask the employer like what a typical day is like. And it's also a really good idea to have suggestions for how you handle kids that might be a disruption or might need more positive feedback. Like, I just want to emphasize that. That's great that Maria brought that up.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know if you will mention, here, if you think it's important to mention to study the employer. So you say go to Google, take a look at that. But then there are so many resources like for schools to know what is the school rates, because everything has a rating here. Okay, that's for another live. But just that info, like if they can check what this school is well known because they have great sports, so then you can mention that, well, I like soccer or I like volleyball, because the schools then hire their in between teachers to be part of their summer programs, for example, to help them there. And that is an extra. So if you are bringing that, I don't know, we have a teacher that is right now in the program with us, and she's a Spanish dance teacher. So she will be super valorated in a school that is focused on dance and arts, for example. Okay, so that is an extra. To go beyond what you think the regular expectations are, and to see what the employer will be interested on and that you may have. So that's an extra.
Yes, I mean, all of that is great, Maria. Yes. So, anything that you can think of, especially if you're applying for a teacher position, if you say that you have like a hobby or a special ability, it might lead to you getting hired as like a coach, and maybe you could make a little extra money too. Right. So it's great to bring that up, or ask if they have a need for teaching or teachers to help after school, especially if you're bilingual. That would be another way to maybe get, make a little extra money and have, some extra experience too. So.
Our dance teacher is there. she's clapping hands up. Yes, Millie, you're there. Awesome teacher. Okay, to conclude, because we don't want to take a lot of time from you, guys, it's Friday. You all have plans to relax and have some fun already at this moment of the week. The last very important thing is to keep a good attitude, okay? To relax, to enjoy your interview, to be able to hear, to laugh, to smile. Sometimes we have great candidates and they are like frozen. And that doesn't help. So just be yourself, show your spirit, show whatever you have to show or you think is important, and that will be just great, okay? Something else?
No, I just want to say that is great advice, and that is exactly what I would say too. And I want to say thanks for your time on a Friday, and enjoy your weekend.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Courtney, for your time. Thanks for meeting with us. And we'll have more info, more videos coming with advices for all of you. Keep in touch and take care. Have a great weekend. Thanks for meeting us.
Bye.
Bye.